It's us.
Bagels.
It do be
Bagels.
us though.
Bagel bites, dude. I remember during the pandemic, in the midst of the worst of it,
Mm.
you could order shit like from the grocery store and they would just bring it out to your car. And I would always try
Oh,
to
yeah.
order bagel bites, and then they would be like, "We don't have bagel bites available." I said, "Fuck it." I put on my Fallout gear and walked straight up in the store. They had bagel bites.
Yeah. And then you were like, when pizza's on a bagel, you can eat pizza! You ever see that clip? Where
Yep,
they just like extend the pizza shit. That's
I
fucking
was,
funny.
dude. You can eat pizza even in the apocalypse. It don't matter.
Yeah.
Well, I wanted to start off with a weird dream story that I had this morning. Anybody there have like these dreams where it's like you're involved with it and you know there's not a whole lot of good stuff going on. You don't know what the hell's happening, but you just want
Hmm.
to see how it all plays out. This
No.
is cool.
Usually at that
Well,
point, I'm like, this is a dream. And I wake up. Anytime I realize I'm in a dream, I wake up.
this is what I had this morning here. I ended up somehow in a courtroom with this methed out like fucking guy next to me here, and I was testifying. You know, him not. Apparently, somebody was murdered, and he was suspected to be the cause of it. And I had to testify against that, and somehow we ended up winning the case. And then it just ended after that. And just like the rest of the details, I can't really figure out too well. But I'm just like just
Was
trying to figure out how I
Daredevil
got in it.
was
I don't know.
Daredevil your lawyer?
I don't know. No, I was a lawyer for him.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice. Your brain just like dumps shit in your dreams. Like that's the crazy thing about dreams is it's kind of like your brain's recycling bin for shit that's just been there hanging around and you just kind of dump it with drugs.
Yeah.
Drugs hit your brain and are like relieve yourself of all these fucking things that are just in your brain for whatever reason. I've had like weird ass dreams where like Wanda Sykes is there and like trust me, I am no fan of Wanda Sykes. She annoys the absolute dog shit out of me. I mean, I've had the stupidest dreams. And then there's all these people who are like, "What do your dreams mean?" And I'm like, "What do you mean? The one where I'm fucking doing a backflip on a rascal scooter, drinking Bud Light, going through a flaming hoop on the way to my grandmother's house for dinner? What does that mean, you fucking idiots? Nothing.
It has
Shit.
some
And then, and
significant
then Wanda
meaning,
Sykes just
don't you?
comes out of nowhere.
Yeah, screaming, "How dare you jump through that flaming hoop like that?" It's
No,
like,
she comes out when she comes out saying, "When you say that's so gay, do you realize what you say? Knock it off."
I mean, yeah. Uh, and then there's those people that are like, lucid dreaming, man. It's the thing. You can do this and you can do
Yeah.
that. And it's like,
I've
what
never
if,
had that happen.
what if really all that is like you're just having a dream that you think you can control because you've thought about it so much that that's what you dream.
Also, hello Omega in the chat. He just said, "What did I just join into?"
Just
Talk about dream shit, man.
just
Wanda
ramblings.
Sykes berating you in your dreams.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, and I have dreams where I'm like back in the military and it's always just this big bummer of like, damn, dude, they're gonna find out I've been smoking all this weed. You know, like I'm gonna have to go piss in a cup immediately. Son of a bitch.
Mm. Yeah, I don't think I've dreamt ever since I started like smoking. Like
They
every
say
now
that
and then.
they say
Mhm.
that it makes it where you don't dream.
Yeah, it really does. Like every now and then, if I'm in a real deep sleep, I'll have a random dream, but they're over very quick. But ever
Mm-hmm.
since I've smoked the Mary Jane, the Devil's Lettuce,
Mm-hmm.
I have not dreamed like at all. I just go to sleep and I wake up. It's really weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hell, I mean, I see
Well,
that as a perk to a certain degree.
To a certain degree, yeah. But every now and then I'm like, I don't just like want to fall asleep and wake up. I just like actually want to sleep for a while.
Mm-hmm.
yeah. Well, have the dreams I've had. I'm sure somebody else, some of you guys have had it where it's like you're like back in school for some reason. You're still the same age, but
Mhm.
you're just like back in school for some reason. And things seem mostly the same, but some things are slightly different.
Oh, dude, high school dreams are the fucking worst. Like,
Yeah.
I
But
have
then you
some
get to
friends.
realizing, hey, wait a second, I don't need to be in school anymore. You just walk down the
Yeah,
street
dude.
somewhere.
Dude, isn't that the best feeling ever? You see kids go on a bus to go to school, and you're like, haha, fuck you, kid. I can go
Yeah.
eat candy right now and do nothing.
And you guys are trapped. You're gonna be
Exactly.
stuck there for 8 hours today.
They'll make
You know
like
what I'm
stupid
gonna do?
faces at you. Hmm?
Poop and scratch my balls and play on my phone. And you can't.
They'll make like they'll make like stupid faces at you, like, haha, look at us, we're being dumb little kids. Like, laugh it up, kid. You're gonna go to school in a minute. I'm gonna go back home and play Jack and Daxter and fucking eat Cheerios right out of the box. There's nothing
know
you can do
why?
to stop me.
You know why, motherfucker? Because I done passed them grades. That means I'm superior
Exactly.
to you. I'm in
Mhm.
grade graduated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny you mentioned playing on the phone, Chad, because I was telling Nino about something that I've been doing recently on my phone here. It's one of those apps where it's like it has a list of different games you can download and it like
Mhm.
gives you coins and you can exchange those for like currency for your PayPal account and whatnot. I've gotten like
Wow.
$6 out of it so far.
Damn. Heavy hustle on
Yeah.
the phone game.
Yeah.
Yeah, some of those are decently legit. A lot of them are absolute scams, but
Yeah,
there's
like I was
some that
telling
you can
about like the slot games on there. It's like stop playing these fake cash games and start playing our fake cash game. That's probably the same shit.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I've know people that have done like surveys for money,
Yeah,
Yeah.
like
and you got to
Survey
do
Junkie or
that
whatever.
shit for like 20 hours a day or something to make minimum wage. It's crazy.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I have like Google's own little opinion rewards thing. It's like you just do your normal thing, go to a store or something, and then after like an hour, Google will ask you, "Hey, have you been to any of these fucking stores?" And you click it, and then you just get like 20, 30 cents or something.
Mm,
It's easy, but it's like you have to do that constantly if you want to make an actual like decent bit of cash out of it.
right.
And there's also this website I found recently called Tester Up, where it's like primarily about testing games and such.
Mm.
Where it's like they can earn like a certain amount of money off certain ones. It's like different tasks. I'm doing
Hmm.
one
Yeah,
right
exactly.
now only. But... Also, hello Sarah in the chat.
What up,
Ew.
and Omega,
Yeah.
Omega and Sarah throwing it down in the chat.
Yeah.
I mean, it would be cool if you could make money off something like Pokemon Go or some kind of JRPG or something like that, because the
Mm.
investment's there. But these mindless little games where you flick your finger, I don't know. There's been
Or
a
play
couple of them
solitaire.
that are fun, but very few.
Yeah.
I just
So-
played some solitaire games and shit.
I saw an interesting tidbit of news today.
Really?
There's some kind of new Russian general, and for some reason the the news out maybe it's this particular news outlet, but they nickname him General Armageddon.
Oh wow.
Oh boy.
And I'm like, dude, that's the shittiest name for a general ever. It's like, my name is Everybody Loses. It's like, isn't your goal supposed to be to
Everybody
win?
loses.
Like nobody wants you to flip the board, homie. Like, if you destroy the world, then you win nothing. Everyone loses.
My name is Death.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I think I read about you in the Bible, dude. Weren't you supposed to be riding a horse or some shit? Like,
Are you best friends with like Famine and all those all
Yeah.
those fellas?
it's like,
What you doing?
Jesus.
Mm.
I just feel like no matter what happens, a lot of these news outlets are going to propagate shit as if it's the end.
Oh yeah, it's what sells.
Saying they haven't already.
Well, I mean,
Oh,
look,
Dr. Dell just came in.
Dr.
Hey,
General
Bell,
General specific, he says.
General specific. Well, Nikki was just talking the other day about how, like, you know, unpacking COVID is still happening. Like, people still haven't completely come to terms with all that shit that went down and as bad as it was. And, you know, we were the generation that was, like, wiping down shit from the grocery store with Clorox wipes. you know. So it's going to be a lot easier for media and different things to be like, uh-oh, it's a big bad. Because we're just like, kind
watch
of
out.
acclimated to shit. It was already that way before with like, you know, September 11th and shit. After that, it was terrorists. Are they hiding in your trash can? Who knows?
Goddamn
Terrorists are
Bush.
hiding in your fucking lilies.
Dude, if you want to hear some of the most racist shit ever that was broadcast nationally, listen to the Howard Stern episode that happens on 9/11.
Oh, dude, yeah. Weren't they like making fun of it at first? Like, ooh, a little plane hit the building. And
Yeah,
then, like,
uh-huh.
very slowly they realized, like, oh, this is
Shit.
serious.
Yeah, this is bad. Yeah, they
Yeah,
did.
that was a bad episode. Oh
I mean,
boy.
I think at the beginning they were talking about, like, did Howard Stern bang Pamela Anderson?
Mm.
And then it's just like devolves into them making fun of 9/11 as it first happened.
There's one Howard Stern episode that I don't watch a lot of Howard Stern, but there's one I remember seeing because it involved the Ren and Stimpy guy, John Kay. Him and Billy West were on there, and John Kay pretty much just brought him on there just to fucking make him seem like a backstabber because he had just got fired off Ren and Stimpy, and he was just like trying to make Billy seem like a backstabber for taking the job still, for taking over Ren and Stimpy after he left. And he had like a couple people behind him like trying to egg it on as well. Just it was a very awkward time, and Billy
Dude.
just looked like he did not want to be there at all. Like, what the fuck am I doing here?
I think that probably the funniest episodes of Howard Stern are when this wrestler named the Iron Sheik and Beetlejuice are arguing with each other.
Yeah, dude. Because Iron Sheik he doesn't just argue, he argues in all caps all the time.
Yeah, he's always screaming,
He always
"You
does.
son of a bitch!"
And that's the bottom line.
Yeah, what he goes, I break your back, I fuck your ass, I make you humble. And he's like this
yeah.
cocaine, like this crack cocaine addicted former head of security for like the Shah of Iran from the 70s. He's like crazy as hell.
Yeah, that motherfucker was on crack. Like, there's a lot of things with wrestlers that I'm like, yeah, I get it why you're addicted to that, like painkillers and shit like that. Crack is a weird one for a wrestler. Imagine getting into the ring with someone like that and you just see their eyes going red and it's just like, dude, are you on crack again? I don't want to fight you. You're gonna break me.
The Iron Sheik was like a whole nother beast though, because he really had to, like, he had to evacuate Iran when the Shah of Iran got assassinated because he was one of his private security guards. And so when the regime got overthrown, he had to fucking evacuate the country. So he came to America and was a legitimate like grappler who became a professional wrestler. And he was so good at being the bad guy because like there was like American hostages in Iran. And he was coming to the ring with the fucking flag, like fucking talking all this mad shit. And in the 70s, people thought that shit was totally just legit. It was the real deal. And they had to like throw a curtain over him and get him to a car and evacuate him while the show was still going on to keep people from trying to hurt him.
Damn.
Yeah. It's crazy, dude.
Shit was wild back in the day.
People would make blow darts and go to wrestling matches and like shoot people's
Try
blow
and
dart
fucking-
guns. Yeah.
Why?
Flick paper clips. They would take paper clips and rubber bands and try to shoot people in the eyes with them and stuff.
Jesus.
The 70s and 80s were crazy, dude.
I don't like you.
You're not me. Oh,
Yeah, dude. Pro wrestling's crazy in general, but back then it was definitely out of control.
Oh yeah.
Don't forget about steroids.
Oh dude, everyone.
don't
was
forget
on
the
them.
roids.
Well,
really
legit
funny, dude.
pro athletes were on steroids like crazy then too.
Oh yeah. It's really funny hearing people complain about like, oh, he won by using steroids. It's like, yeah, so did everybody else.
Yeah.
Dude,
So you're
from the
Hey,
late '60s to late '80s, everybody
yeah.
was
So
on
like
steroids.
your roided up guy lost to our roided up guy. So it's like it's a fair fight. Who
Yeah.
cares?
Yeah. Pee Wee Herman jacked off in a porno theater. So did everybody else.
Yeah,
Exactly.
it's true. I mean, it'd be kind of weird if you were just sitting there like, just the framing of this. I mean,
Mm.
it's a cinematic masterpiece.
Go into
Well,
a
what
Marvel
was it that
Cinematic
JonTron-
Universe movie, jacking your peen.
Yeah. What was that JonTron video you guys reacted to with Internet Historian, where he was talking about like those old rooms he used to have in New York,
Oh,
strip clubs
yeah.
or whatever?
Mm-hmm.
It just
Well,
had like
dude.
a window.
There's been recent shit. Did I talk about the shit going on in pro baseball in the major
I don't
leagues?
think so.
So there's a guy right now who's hit like 62 or 63 home runs
Mhm.
in one season,
Yeah.
which the record is 73.
Mhm.
But that record was set by somebody that was definitely jacked to the gills on steroids. Okay? And then the record set below that was like 71. And that guy was definitely jacked to the gills on steroids. And then right
Mhm.
behind him is another guy that was jacked to the gills on steroids. So they're saying this is like the real record because this guy, you know, is playing clean and all this shit. And I'm just
Yeah.
like, bro, when it comes to a sport like baseball that's been around for so long, it's like the American pastime, you know, 1800s and shit.
Mm-hmm.
How many generations have come through that sport and set these records where it's like, you're going to tell me that Babe Ruth should be considered one of the greatest baseball players ever, and he never had to play the sport of baseball against black people? Really?
Mm-hmm.
Because there were people in the what they referred to then as the, you know, the black leagues or whatever, who were killing it, dude. And as soon as they integrated the leagues, all these legends from those teams just fucking flat out dominated, right?
Yeah.
So you're telling me that that difference doesn't matter? That a whole section of humanity was removed from competition with this guy, but steroids is harder, is like more of an advantage? Come on, dude.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Everybody
funny you
was using
mention-
steroids. Not just the people who set the records. The people they were playing against were using steroids also.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
Their
funny you
whole team and their
mentioned,
grandma used it.
Funny you mentioned black athletes during that then, because I actually have with me a film called Boss, that word.
Oh, no.
The guy who stars in that film, Fred Williamson, he used to be a big college football star. They nicknamed him
Oh.
the Hammer.
The hammer.
Yeah, because they explained it like every time he came at you, it felt like a hammer beating at your face.
Well,
That's
I
basically
mean, the play style for some people was just like, I'm going to run into you as hard as I can. But my favorite people were the ones who were like, at the cost of breaking all physics and gravity, I'm going to avoid you the best that I can. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of him, but there's this guy called Barry Sanders.
Yeah,
And
they're-
to me, he's like the greatest running back of all time in football. And this guy was like all of 5'8", 220 pounds in the NFL, having these monsters try to tackle him. And you watch footage of him, they're ripping his jersey off. He's doing fucking back handsprings across their backs. Like, it's just insane to watch this guy like bend and sideways and just like people. It reminds me of some shit Bugs Bunny would do, or like Tom from Tom and Jerry, or Jerry would do from Tom and Jerry. Like,
I heard about Barry Sanders from like that one Cat Williams skit. It's like, that's why Barry Sanders is a real OG. He don't give a shit. He gets up there these people hate him, man. He gets up there on stage every day. He gets asked questions. He just hit another home run. It's like, what do you feel about the use of steroids in sports? No comment.
oh, you're talking about Barry Bonds.
Barry Bonds. Okay, so sorry.
Yeah, he's the one who
both
had the
named Barry.
record. He's the one who had the record at 73. Okay, this guy played forever in the MLB. He played forever, from the 80s all the way up to the fucking mid 2000s or something. He had one season where he hit that many home runs. He was using steroids for a long time.
Yeah.
That one season he was able to do that. He wasn't able to do that any other time in his career. And it was like, how I just don't understand how they're acting like that shit doesn't count.
Well, I also like when Cat Williams talked about steroids, but I was like, no, what's the side effects? It make your dick little. Make your dick little? Trying to get Royce's dick get more pussy. I wasn't trying to trick a bitch.
Dude, Cat Williams had a skit about getting stoned and eating all the fucking Fruity Pebbles or whatever. Have you seen that one?
Was that like one of his older bits or more recent?
I can't remember. But he was talking about getting high and going and eating all of his kids' cereal at night, and then they wake up and they're like, oh no, all the cereal's gone, and he has to walk in there like devastated, like, oh my God, how did this happen?
How could this happen?
Yeah. Shit's so funny.
Nice. Okay. Dr. Dell's saying Ruth was a good guy was good for a guy who lived a not so healthy life. And Sarah replied, but at least he left behind the candy bar.
It's true. He left behind a legacy of boozing, and like I think he beat the shit out of women too.
Really?
On par for a guy in the 20s, you know.
Yeah, that's
Of course.
standard practice for those eras.
Yeah, you have to hit the women. If you don't hit the women, you're not going to be in the MLB.
Yeah, let's get some truth behind this. Did Babe Ruth smack these hoes?
Okay,
Babe
Google.
Ruth smack his bitch up. Change his
Man.
bitch up. Smack his bitch up.
Of course, everything I'm looking up is about him hitting baseballs.
That's code for women.
But there's a story. It's like the woman who maybe struck out Babe Ruth.
So she hit him?
Some 18-year-old chick, evidently. So, cool. Good. I hope so. That'd make for an interesting movie. Hey, Amazon, did you hear that?
Yeah. If you're not too busy making Rings of Power, get on that shit.
Dude, Rings of Power. Have you guys watched any of it?
I've deliberately
My dad's been
avoided
watching
it
it
because
recently.
I
I've been
heard
seeing
it's
a little bit of it.
absolute garbage.
Your dad watched some of it, you said?
He's been watching every episode of it lately. He's watched that and the House of the Dragon, that new Game of Thrones series that came out. He actually likes those ones. It's just like
I'm so disappointed in Rings of Power, man. Because it could have been really good. But they went out of their way to make shit up heavy, like worse than The Hobbit.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and it's like,
Ed Sheeran wasn't in The Hobbit.
yeah, it's just like they did stupid shit that doesn't make any sense, man. Like,
To be fair though, the song they used with Ed Sheeran, "I See Fire," is still a good song. I'm not gonna lie about that. It's still good.
hey, Thomas holding it down for the redheads.
He's got to support his team.
Yeah, I mean, I'm on the same team, but I'm not going to sit
I mean, there's
here
not many of us out there.
Yeah. I've seen the
I've
first
deliberately-
episode of Andor. I'm going to be watching more of it because I'm putting it on Patreon. And the first episode was grittier than I thought. It was darker than I thought. It's more of a, I don't know. There was a lot of cloak and dagger type shit going on there at the beginning. It's pretty interesting. It's different. Supposedly, it's the prequel to fucking what was that movie that came out? It's like one of my favorite Star Wars films that Disney did. It's like the only one that I really like. Is it Rogue One? That's the Nintendo game, right?
I'm not sure.
Rogue
not-
But apparently
Squadron's the Nintendo game. Rogue One is the
Yeah.
movie. Yeah.
Yeah.
Apparently, Dr. Dell says Ed Sheeran did a song with Pokemon. Really?
He did.
I did not hear that one.
That does not surprise me.
Yeah, he's a huge Pokemon fan. I think Post Malone did one too, and it's just like, man, do y'all know how many people like Pokemon? You can do better than this.
Yeah.
Speaking of Pokemon, weren't they making like a new Detective Pikachu game?
Are they?
Yes,
I've
been-
heard about that at least.
it's been what do you call it? Like delayed and pushed back, but it's been on their schedule for like ever. They announced that they were going to be doing it so long ago.
Well, I've realized recently that I just cannot get into Nintendo stuff. I've tried multiple times in my life. I just can't do it. Bought a Switch, sold that off. I bought a GameCube twice, sold that off. Had that fucking Game Boy Color that my cousin gave me when we were little. Hardly ever played it, man. It's like I have a hard time getting into Nintendo stuff because I've mostly been PlayStation my whole life. So it's like it's kind of hard to transition to that other side there. Also, knowing some shitty business practices Nintendo has.
Oh,
yeah.
shit. Don't even bring up Sony and then talk about shitty business practices, bro.
Well,
Come on, dude.
I mean, honestly, they
Yeah.
have some stuff too, but I don't know.
Are you kidding me? They will build just the most supreme hardware and then just be like, oh, by the way, this hardware works kind of, but like you have to have this kind of memory card specifically for it. You can't cross play with these people. Oh yeah, you can have Skyrim Special Edition, but we're gonna monitor all the mods and only give you certain ones of them. I mean, they just do all kinds of crazy shit. Not only that, but they went to war with Nintendo back in the day, dude, over some espionage type shit, and that that has caused a blood feud between them. And I love how Xbox just rolls in the mix like everybody love everybody.
Oh, yeah, no, I primarily use Xbox now.
Yeah, since Xbox came out, I've been an Xbox guy, especially with the 360 over the PS3, just because the pricing of the PS3. That's another thing Sony does.
Yeah.
They are not afraid to charge like $100 more than everybody else for no fucking reason.
Because they can get away with it. Because they're fucking Sony.
And people said the PS3 was better than Xbox 360, but like, have you seen the load times for updates on that shit?
Also, there's a argument to be made because Xbox pushed the 360 out way too early and it was so fucked up. You know, at least with the PS3, you knew you were getting some quality shit. I've still got one of the Fat Boy original PS3s, and it's great.
Dude, the backwards compatibility on the first like PS3s were
Because you can play PS1, PS2, and PS3 on it. Mine's modded, so I can even play burnt discs on it, but yeah, it's collecting dust at the moment.
And apparently I didn't know this. I thought it was there the entire time, but apparently they didn't introduce the trophy or achievement system until like 2008 or 2009. I'm like, I thought that shit was already there.
Yeah.
Nah.
No, yeah,
I think that's
there's a
another
bunch of
thing.
games.
I think that's another thing they jacked from Xbox was like the achievements and shit, which I'm
think
pretty sure
so.
was jacked from Steam to begin with, but
Yeah. No, yeah, there's a bunch of games like 2006, 2007 that if you play them, there's just not an achievement list for it because it came out when achievements weren't a thing.
Jesus.
Well, they eventually had to make lists for almost all of them. I imagine some of them just didn't get lists. There's some of the PS3 that still have them, like Lego Star Wars: The Complete Saga. That still doesn't have an achievement list on it.
But like,
Oh yeah.
does that shit even transfer over like generation to generation?
I don't know.
Well, I mean, it's tied to your account, so it's like, you know, you put your account on your PS4, and then you have your PS3 trophies together with the PS4 shit that you now have, and then you go to PS5. So it does, you know, stay there, but it's like, it depends on how much you give a shit about it.
None.
Yeah, because I personally don't give a shit, even though I have like 50 platinum trophies. I just complete games because I like them.
Oh shit. Got another copyright claim.
Oh fuck!
That
What
shit's
is
so
it now?
funny. It was Because I fucking played some of those wrestling videos during a live stream.
Ah, of course.
And you said it was fine.
I mean, it was fine. I ain't worried about it. We usually don't even monetize those shits anyway.
Hmm.
It's about to be to the point of like, why even monetize on YouTube at all?
Yeah.
And I heard like, you know more about this than I do, Nanopolis. What's the deal with the Twitch streamers like not getting paid as much as they were before?
So I don't exactly know the ins and outs of the situation with that, but basically Twitch has come out and said because the revenue split between streamers and the platform used to be 70-30. So
Mm-hmm.
they would get 30, you would get 70. Now it's just straight up 50-50 across the goddamn board,
Mm.
which fucks a lot of people over really hard.
Yeah,
But-
that's nearly double what they were making gone.
But you know what they did to
Yeah.
replace that? Elevated messages, where you can pay $2 for a 30-second ad, and then I think it's like $100 for a 2-minute ad.
That is fucking stupid.
Yeah,
Yeah, that
Charlie
doesn't-
made a video about that. It's just like, it's just fucking ridiculous.
Yeah.
He
I
said
don't
you can
really
basically just buy 5 $2 ones and then just have that go for the same amount of time for less
Yeah.
money.
Wow.
Yeah, they're saying like, oh, it's just not viable for Twitch in the long term to do like a 70-30 split. Yes, it fucking is. Twitch is making millions and millions.
All right. So
just-
you're
I don't
from
know what
Europe,
it
so
is.
I don't think you understand this. But like the goal for these companies is not to do well, but it's to set records every year for how much the people on top get paid.
Yeah.
That's the goal.
Yeah, I see.
So yes, there are tons of companies that are highly capable of, giving fair wages to their employees, but instead of doing that, they want to set their records year
Yeah.
after year. And it's really crazy, dude, because like the housing market, because of that very mentality, they're having to put laws in place that don't allow landlords to raise rent every time there's a new lease. Because every time there's a new lease, now people's rent almost doubles every single time. So that's for some people every year.
Yeah, exactly.
So, oof.
Shit's fucky.
All sorts of fucky ducky.
All sorts of fucky wucky business.
Yeah, why the fuck do people sit in hot tubs on Twitch?
Because it gets views. That's where we're at now.
And also so they don't get banned.
Yeah, ironically enough.
So it's like if you wear a bikini on stream, you get banned. But if you're in a
Just
hot
by
tub
itself.
while you do it,
Yeah, because there's a category for it. And it's all like...
Welcome to Twitch.
Dude,
what
a
if
bitch can get finger blasted on live stream and get 7-day suspension, and then someone says a funny word and gets permabanned? I fucking hate that platform so much.
Dude, what if you just had a robot that just like every 30 seconds squirted you with a water gun? You could be like, hey, I'm having a water gun fight with this robot. That's all that's happening here.
New Michael Reeves video.
Yeah. I was surprised none of our waxing streams got anything, everything was chill. But when Nate and I did it,
Well, because Nate has that mass.
yeah.
It's too hot for the internet.
It's too
Yeah.
sexy. Can't be contained.
Ariel can attest to that.
Me shirtless is just so based. They don't even care. It's like, okay.
But once you bring in
Right,
the
yeah.
girth, the unmystified, don't know what the fucking word. I lost my point. Fuck.
Yeah.
Brain fart.
It's pretty much me every day. Like, what was I doing here on planet Earth? Oh, yeah. Nothing.
And then two
Shit,
words float
shit.
behind your head: Alzheimer's disease.
Mm-hmm. dude, what a terrifying aspect of life.
Oh yeah.
Mental decline.
Mm.
But yeah, dude, to move from something not so fucking sad. Um there are some weird quirks that I noticed. Like, I went around some family here this past weekend, and just I never really hang out with what you would consider the average person from my area.
Yeah.
Because I'm just usually with the outcasts, the vagabonds, the artists, and things like that.
The Bostons.
And I remember why when I go and hang out with the average Joe. There's something about like hillbillies and rednecks and shit where like every kind of joke or rib, among friends is like a threat of violence for some reason.
Yeah.
It's always like, well, Fred, if you don't hush, I'm gonna come over and smack the dog shit out of you. Or if Tomboy over there don't calm down, I'm gonna have to jerk a knot in his tail.
Yeah.
Or like I whip you until you can't even scream no more or something. It's just like, why are you guys keep threatening to beat each other up constantly? Like, why does everything have to be so goddamn aggro? We're trying to just chill.
Well, that could be summed up to 2 words: toxic masculinity.
Oh yeah. I asked my dad, and he was just like, well, you just got a bunch of gorillas that are working blue collar jobs all day long. It's kind of grunting and spitting and cussing. It's all we know how to do. I'm just like, I guess.
I mean, hey, that's facts.
Yeah.
Getting
So
too real in
funny.
the chat.
Well, me and my best friend, like, he lives in Seattle now, and so he calls me pretty often. Every time he calls me, I'll answer the phone. I'll just be like, Jesus Christ, you goddamn son of a bitch! Why the fuck do you think I want to talk to you? And it's
What
all
do you
just
want,
like,
you motherfucker?
it's all just like a play on that kind of mentality of like,
Yeah.
that's how homies speak around here. Just the worst shit you can possibly say to each other.
Oh yeah, but that's just like friends in general, though, isn't it? Like, if there's someone that you don't really know that well, you're just kind of cordial with them, like, hey, how you going? Fucking everything all right? Yeah, blah blah blah. But then as soon as you get to your real friends, it's like, oi, dickhead, fuck off, why don't you?
Yeah.
It's
Look
just
at this
immediately.
scrawny sack of shit rolling in here.
Fred says, I want to know why I was your first example, Chad.
Well, I use Tom as well.
Yeah.
I'm an equal opportunity inclusive kind of guy.
We all get shit on.
Everybody gets shit on. Yeah, dude.
You can say the worst shit to your friends, and if they're your real friends, you'll get away with it.
Mhm.
It'll just slide off like, yeah.
But if it's anybody else, it'll just be like the hippo from Rock with Bar in Life, like, how dare you?
Yeah, how dare you? That's funny as hell.
That's pretty much what everybody is nowadays. Just that fucking hippo.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah. But it's always over shit that nobody really actually gives a fuck about. And then if there's something that like you're actually upset about or that people should care about, they're like, yeah. It's like all these people talking about, oh, impoverished communities and people that need help. And it's like, okay, there was just a horrific hurricane that went through Florida. Are you going down there to help? Oh, no, you're not. It's easier just to gripe about things that are trendy on the internet. You don't really care about social justice or helping anyone.
It's all about the brownie points.
Mm-hmm.
It's all me.
Well, if there's no weed in them brownies, I ain't taking part in it.
Well, by
That's
God,
very true.
I'll tell you right now, there's going to be weed in them brownies. Every damn one of them.
Sarah says, oh my God, Rocco, it wasn't until I was older that I realized how perverted and messed up that show was. That's how a lot of shows were back then, man. Like, Ren and Stimpy was filled. It wasn't entirely dirty, but there was, like, some things in that show that were just, like, kind of was crossing that line.
I mean, the show was made by a pedo, so
Well,
What do
yeah,
you expect?
Mm.
Admittedly so.
Yeah, animation.
But in that
man,
show's
that
case, you
fucking
had to learn
wild.
to like separate the art from the artist. It's like because when I watch that show now, I don't think of John himself. I think of like the other people that worked on it, who weren't horrible people, like
I don't know,
Bob
man.
Camp, Jim Smith, like
Hillenberg.
yeah.
There's certain shit that makes it fucking impossible to do. Like what was that? That one band. It was like the Something Prophets. They were like an early 2000s rock band, and like the lead singer was like grooming his fans who had small children to like get access to them and stuff.
Just a question: why does that always happen, man? What leads a person to do that when they get to a certain level of fame? Like, do you not enjoy where you're at right now? And that you have
No, I think that it's
this fucking
before
much work
then.
to-
It's a lot of stuff that happens that causes stuff like that. Most notably,
Yeah.
childhood trauma. A lot of people that have that kind of stuff going on had that happen to them, and they perpetuate it. Unfortunately, um,
Yeah.
but he just seemed to be this like extra crusty kind of Krusty McCrustington. He was out there like. Here's another thing. Like, I wouldn't even go as far as to say that him, the main like villain of that scenario, the super fucked up guy, was the most fucked up, because you had these women who were like volunteering their kids for this situation
Yeah, that's fucked.
because he was famous and paid attention to them. They were like, do whatever.
Yeah, I think
And-
that's the key part of it all. It's like the fame that these people have, the level that they're on. People just like they can get away with it because they're famous.
Yeah. So what's up
think
with
that-
these chicks that like thought that it was a good idea to subject their children to that for their own,
Yeah.
gratification out of like being cared about by somebody famous? So weird.
Yeah,
But yeah, that guy, they buried him underneath the jail. He'll never see the light of day. Thank God.
good, perfect.
They should have done that with Jared from Subway.
Honestly, yeah.
I
should've.
did not
Wait, Jared from
know
Subway?
until, dude, Jared Fogle, the Subway guy?
Hmm.
He was the
giant
dude with the
fat dude
glasses.
Yeah. He was like,
Yeah.
I ate nothing but Subway sandwiches and I lost all this weight and then I diddled children.
Oh, that's something.
Well,
Yeah.
the most shocking allegations against him weren't of him physically doing things to people. It was that he had his assistant going into kids' rooms planting cameras.
Yeah.
He would like take these speaking jobs at like schools, and he would go and like give these speeches on behalf of Subway, and then his assistant was like going to kids' houses and like planting cameras in their rooms. Ugh, that shit is a fucking nightmare, and he deserves to be underneath the fucking jail. Period.
Absolutely. Just executed on the public square.
That shit's crazy.
I mostly just hear about that shit from like every other. People say like every other week a YouTuber gets blamed for like abuse allegations or whatnot. It's like
Specifically Minecrafters.
Specifically, Mini
Like,
Lab every week.
Yeah.
and call me Carson.
Yeah, but like, correct me if I'm wrong. The stuff between him happened between an age gap of like 1 to 2 years. And not only that, they were like in school with each other and dated each other and knew each other well before he became famous.
Yeah.
So,
I don't know. Yeah. I don't know the full details of it, but if that's the main thing that I've heard is just like a 2-year gap. And it's like, so? And?
well, like, here's the thing, man. Like, I always thought it was weird when people that were seniors were like dating freshmen,
Yeah.
you know? But like, it was no weird thing for like a junior and a senior to be dating, or like a sophomore and a junior to be dating, or whatever. Like, and then even people in the same grade, there were people that were 17 and 18 that were seniors. But my dad, dude, my dad was straight up like, listen, you turn 18, that's anything 18 and
Anything
up is
below
all
is
you
no.
got, bro. And
Yeah.
he's like, I don't care if you dated them before. I don't care if you just, nope. And I saw a lot of people that just like girls that I knew were dating college dudes when they were in like, they were like sophomores in high school. They were like 15 and
Yeah.
16 years old dating like 20-some-year-old dudes. I'm like, man, your
Yeah,
life
I
is
know a
going to be
couple people
terrible.
like that.
You're about to have to live like an adult right now. I'm going to play Madden.
Yeah, I knew people like that. Either they were in relationships, like I knew a 16-year-old that was in a relationship with a 22-year-old, and I knew of 15-year-olds that when I was at home smoking weed and meowing the opening riff to Gorilla Radio to myself in the mirror, they would be going into bars with fake IDs and picking up guys. I'd be like, "What? When you're fucking 15? 15 with a fake ID?
Yeah, dude.
That's not your fault anymore at that point."
It's bizarre. And you know, I live in redneck land, so like there were certain instances where it's like, well, as long as they get married, and it's like, are we Amish? Like, what is going on here? Like, we have electricity, you know?
Are
Like,
Yeah.
you can shit and then flush it, and it disappears. Why would you be doing this?
Poo goes away to your house and water comes to it.
I just don't understand. I don't understand that whole gimmick. Like, hi, kitty.
Power wash the cat.
It's a kitty.
Yeah, like I had discussions with other homies about that. Like, fucking, you're going into a bar when you're 15, 16 with fake IDs, and you can't be blamed for anything at that point. You can even say to the police, like, I checked her ID. That's part of my pre-sex ritual.
Oh, wow.
As well as the please don't tell the police I touched you waiver.
Yeah, the shit that goes on Vice is so funny. Sometimes they had this one thing. My friend sent me a clip from it, and it was like this guy on this heartfelt rant about like he was an offender and he had been busted in the past, you know, doing not the man things, you know, and he was like, we all need to be in this together. We got to come out here. We got to survive, and we got to learn to lift each other up and break these trends and blah, blah, blah. And then the lady narrating it was like, 2 hours after he left this interview, he sent a dick pic to our producer.
Legend.
Of course.
The same guy that was just out here preaching a sermon about change and like acceptance and everything was just like,
Well,
well,
you have to commend him for his comedic timing.
he just said, you know, at least they understand where I'm coming from, you know.
Praise the Lord. Here's my cock.
Check this shit out. Do you guys know who Brett Favre is?
I've heard the name.
Yeah, that name sounds familiar, but I can't place
Really
it.
famous quarterback for the Green Bay Packers from like the 90s to the early 2000s. I mean, the man is a fucking legend, right?
Yeah.
So he had a bit of a scandal because he rather enjoyed the look of this ESPN reporter and just decided to send a pic of the naughty bits. Unsolicited, you know. For a guy who's famous for just slinging shit out there, he lived up to that. And now he's in a controversy where he took money from the government to the tunes of like millions of dollars for like COVID relief shit and was just like funneling it into his little sports projects and stuff.
Well, damn.
And the media coverage of this shit has been like very, not that much. Right.
Just kind of fucking pushed away a little bit.
Yeah, they're just kind of acting like it's not that big of a deal. Now, mind you, this was funding put out there to help like people really fucked up by the whole pandemic situation, like to not lose everything.
Yeah.
And instead, it's like going to this multi-millionaire football player who like randomly sends schlong pigs to people.
He needs that money.
Yeah.
How else
America.
could
So
he
we can
afford a
diddle more
gold-plated
kids.
bathtub?
No, he wasn't a diddler. He was just a perv, you know? kind of pushed himself on people. Yeah, but that shit's so crazy to me. Like, what level of success do you have to reach to where you don't have to, like, steal money from poor people? Is it just like what rich people do? They're like, I don't have anything
generally.
better to do. Might as well just steal more money from the poor.
Why do you think Wall Street exists?
Because
Why do
they
you
built
think
a
these-
wall on a street. I don't know.
I mean, why do you think all these, like, the constant talking about, oh, tax the rich, this and that? It's never gonna fucking work. The reason that they're rich is because they know how to avoid taxes.
Yeah. And they're the
It's
ones
like-
who pay the people that make the laws to begin with, so
Exactly.
yeah.
It was like, these people, I don't know, they just have their ways of making and maintaining such vast amounts of money that we just can't comprehend.
Yes. Well, speaking of money, I've been seeing a lot of advertisements about like liberal policies have caused the worst inflation in years, and they're talking about like that Madison chick to vote for.
Mm.
Been seeing that go around a lot.
Some kind of local legislator. Somebody running for local office.
Yeah.
Dude, I love how they act like that shit has never... The political parties in America like to pretend as if they have never done anything wrong. And it's
the
like,
other
if
side
you-
is always to blame.
Oh, God, for everything. And it's...
And everyone's just like, "Don't give us that crap. We got books on you fuckers."
Well, dude, seriously, Donald Trump is the worst. He most recently blew my mind with this thing where he had classified documents, and he claimed that they were no longer classified because as president, he could just declassify them with his mind, purely by thinking about them being declassified.
All right, now that's
Yeah,
just
that's how that works.
that's just smooth brain. That's not a politician. That's just being a fucking idiot.
Well, that's the thing. He makes a perfect politician when all he has to do is talk mad shit, and everybody's just like, yeah. Because politics is
yeah.
boring.
Declassify with your mind, man.
Yeah.
He is the biggest shit talker.
Dude, it was fucking hilarious to see him around all these fucking pencil-necked fucking losers, and he's just like, you're fucking ugly. Next point. You know?
You're fucking-
No, I don't take questions from you. You're fake news. Next.
I don't take questions from you. You're fake news. Next up.
It's like somebody's drunk uncle at a poker game, you know?
Let's go to somebody
Wrong.
reputable. Let's go to Fox News.
You know, and as an anarchist, I just see politics as a fucking sham anyway.
Oh, yeah.
So, like, I hope Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson runs for president, dude. Because seeing him cut promos against Donald Trump will be the funniest shit ever. Because what are you going to say about The Rock?
Oh, yeah.
Not only that, he can talk shit with anybody. So, like,
Back it up, too.
yeah.
What do you think his presidential tagline will be? It's like, "Now, with me in office, you're gonna smell what America's cooking."
Yeah. Did you guys know that Donald Trump tried to open a football league to compete with the NFL
Doesn't surprise me.
back in the 80s? It was like the USFL. Do you hear all
United
this
States
crazy
Football
shit
League?
going on?
Never heard of it.
Do you hear all this drilling and shit going on here?
No, I can't hear anything.
I've been hearing a lot of bugs in my house.
Dude, that's crazy that you guys can't hear that, because there's somebody like sawing the fucking building right now. It's vibrating the floor.
No, dude, like, we've been getting a lot of fucking midges around here. I don't know why, but around here, it's always like the beginning of fall or the middle of spring. We get like these midges hanging around our windows. Like, you see, at night, you see like 10 or 20 of those fucking things in the kitchen window. And then we keep somehow getting bees in our bathroom, like on the curtains or whatever. I'm just like, hell no,
Damn.
just crust the curtain. And then one little fucker just cut in my ears. I heard like Jesus.
What did you say was on the window?
Like these little midge bugs, you know, like
I don't know what the fuck that is. I've never heard of it.
you know those little bugs that hang on your window or whatever.
Let
Just
me
like
look. Midge. How do you spell that? MIDGE.
yeah,
The only true leader is Cthulhu. I agree.
Non-biting midges.
yeah. like they don't do, but they're just fucking obnoxious to just hang out by the window. They're just like, if you do anything, it's like,
So they just look like big ass mosquitoes.
kind of, yeah.
I got you. I see.
You don't get them in your area.
No, it's like potato bugs, stink bugs, ladybugs, bees, of course, wasps.
Yeah, Dr. Dell knows about the midges.
I know about
Yeah.
midgets, not midges.
That's what I thought he was saying. I was like, dude,
No.
what the fuck are you even talking about, bro?
All these midgets climbing on my wall, fucking drilling into my.
They're trying to break in.
Oh my
Beetlejuice,
god.
no!
Well,
Dude. So Blink 182 just got back together with all their original members.
Oh.
And so AKA Tom DeLonge rejoined the group.
Mm-hmm.
And they announced a world tour.
Oh.
Tickets went on sale today. For nosebleed seats, it's $230.
Fuck that.
Bingo.
Fuck that.
Bingo.
I wouldn't pay that shit for Slayer, let alone Blink 182.
Bro, that is not punk rock.
Mm.
Where's Dead Kennedy's reunion?
Dude.
I think I'd rather have The Cure. Goddamn.
The Dead Kennedys fell apart because Jello Biafra, the lead singer, had a falling out with the rest of the band because they started wanting to sell out their music to like commercials and shit.
Oh, yeah.
And then he said that they just became like way too right wing for him, and he was always like the side of like no fucking wing. But most recently, he's been very left wing, and it's just like, punk rock people aren't supposed to be taking sides with the government, you fucking idiots.
Exactly. You're supposed to be punk. God damn it.
There is not a single side of the government that's going to be okay with you drinking beer in the parking lot and then smashing the bottles, okay? Don't do it.
Dr. Dell says 2:30 gets all torrented.
Yeah. Well, lads, we've reached the final stroke of the clock.
Oh,
Not the final
quick.
stroke of the... So,
Chicken.
how the heck are you boys? You got anything to say at the end of this?
Thomas?
No, just yeah, if anybody who's in chat right now, be sure to share it around, I guess, because we're only at 12 subscribers right now, and if you could, oh shit, I accidentally disliked it. If you just want to share it around with people you know, just get more people in the chat and whatnot, it'd be greatly appreciated and whatnot.
Yeah, we're trying to grow this little podcast and see what we can do with it. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Always a good time talking to you gentlemen.
Yeah. It's always fun.
Yeah. But I think that's going to do it, y'all. Thanks for tuning in.